Hello and welcome to your reading. This is the Awakened Jenn. All right, so this is the energy forecast for March 31st through April 6th. So I decided not to do this one as a live. We're doing a recorded one for this. But I do have a lot planned already. So before we get started, I want us to go ahead and take 3 deep breaths together and we'll do the invocation to call in the spirit team. So if you'll close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths with me. All right, breathe in. That's one. Breathe in. That's two. Breathe in. That's three. I now call in my angels, archangels, ascended masters, my higher self, and guardian angels to please enter this present space and time. I call upon Archangel Michael to place a bubble of protection around us. Only beings of the highest vibration of pure love and light may enter in. So be it. All right. So we've got a lot coming at us. And so we've got a lot to talk about. Um, we've been talking about the eclipses that, we're kind of right in the middle of the eclipses right now. So we just had the lunar eclipse on March 25th. So that was this past Monday. And then on April 8th, we're going to have the solar eclipse. And so we're in between that energy right now. And so we talked about the lunar eclipse last week, and I absolutely felt the impact of that the day that it, hit. I definitely felt the shift. And so something that I had learned was lunar eclipses can have a negative impact on the earth and water signs, but it can have a positive impact on air and fire signs. So you might have, felt that impact right there already with what we've already experienced. While the solar eclipse, it's typically has a positive impact for water and earth signs, and then a negative impact for the air and fire signs. So wherever you're at, you're going to get hit one way or the other in this eclipse season. So something else, as I was looking, towards the astrology that's coming, is on the day of the eclipse, we have 6 planets in Aries. Like, that's huge. I have not ever seen that many planets all just in one sign like that. So in that on that day in Aries, we have let's see, we've got Mercury, we have Chiron, the North Node, the Moon, Venus, and the Sun, all in Aries on the day of the solar eclipse. And so, I mean, we've got the massive energy of the solar eclipse, but then you've got all of this other energy that's working with it. So, I mean, that tells me that, like, this is a significant moment for all of us. I mean, it's meant to impact us on a very personal level because the Aries energy is a very personal energy. It's the I am energy. So we're going to read through about what to expect with the solar eclipse. And then we're going to also read about what the Aries energy is supposed to be doing so that we can understand how this is meant to impact and shape us, how we're supposed to be using the energy. But then another thing that is happening this week, and this is happening on Monday, April 1st, we have Mercury going into retrograde. And so when Mercury goes into retrograde, that's when our communication can get messed up. We can have electronic issues, popping up. And usually there is someone from the past will show back up. It's usually past relationships like pop back up again. So that starts on April 1st and it goes through through April 26th. So we've got a lot coming. I mean, some big energy coming. So let's go ahead and read about the solar eclipse first. That's what we'll start with, the solar eclipse. Okay. Revolution is actually something that starts in individual hearts. Bill Viola. This card spells out change. Eclipses, both solar and lunar, are the earliest forecasting tools used in astrology. These Through these dramatic sky events, the ancients understood major transformations were about to happen. And since these eclipses looked so dramatic, ancient people greatly feared them. Since during an eclipse, the sun and moon give the impression that they disappear, the ancients associated eclipses with serpents they believed were devouring the lights in the sky. From this, the ancients formed the idea of death and rebirth, which is what eclipses are all about. In other words, when it comes to eclipses, something has to die for better things to be born. In the case of the solar eclipse, the effects are longer lasting. The solar eclipse occurs during the new moon when the sun and the moon are in opposition but perfectly aligned. For a brief time, the moon obscures the sun, blocking it from view. In essence, this is a blackout, and it means we must focus on what is directly in front of us. Usually, a change or a shock is in store, which may not be welcome but is necessary for us to move forward. When the solar eclipse card turns up in a reading, you can expect swift changes that end one chapter and start a new one. You may have thought something would eventually happen, not having recently paid much attention to the situation. Then you're presented with a shock or a jolt, and you're reeling over the sudden change. This upheaval takes away what has been familiar and safe so that you can embark on new territories or even venture to a strange new terrain. But it will be daunting. So, I mean, this eclipse is meant to come and just clear out, just whatever is not supposed to be in your life. This is like the ultimate tower. These events may seem like negatives at first: a divorce, the end to a relationship, being forced to move, or even losing your job. Eclipses tend to affect relationships foremost, however, and so you may soon see stressors or upsetting changes in the relational supports that you have counted on. For whatever reason, these may be taken away, either for the time being, but perhaps permanently. So, one thing you can count on is that your life will go through a complete rearrangement of sorts. These energies are saying that it is necessary to be cruel before being kind. But the eclipses are not always about the downside. Instead, you may find yourself having to dive in and change something, fix something, or create something that you hadn't really thought of but will work out brilliantly, that ends up transforming your life in all the ways that you've hoped for, maybe beyond your wildest imaginings. All in all, when the solar eclipse card turns up, it implies that you are being forced to make a decision and to act on it. There will be no stepping away from it, even though you may not have been consciously aware of just how much certain issues were not working. It's time to look ahead and finally resolve what has held you back. Now is the time to begin anew and to start a new chapter in the book of life. So, I mean, this is it's the time. It's the time is now. The time is now. And I saw that somewhere else in my notes leading up to this. I have that somewhere. The time is now. Yep. Um, in the angel numbers that were coming out. And so the angel numbers that lined up with was 644, and this was a 44 card. So I think that that's interesting. Um, all right. So, like I said, so we've got the eclipse energy coming in that's meant to just, I mean, it's really a clearing. It is meant to get things out of your way, the things that you have been putting off and procrastinating. You can no longer procrastinate anymore. It's time. We're going to deal with this head on. And we're dealing with it in an Aries energy because with all of those other planets aligning on that same day in that same energy of just because that's where the sun is going to be too. with this energy of Aries, that's the energy that we're kind of like, it's being built in us. All right, so Aries. Okay. So Aries goes from March 21st to April 19th. I guess I'm just a natural warrior. Where's the Aries? Sorry. The Aries card says that it's okay to push now, just don't push too hard. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and the energy of this card is that of a dynamic trailblazer. Aries is the fire of creation. This means that Arians can be highly creative. Since they are impatient, they also are blunt and to the point. They make no effort to pretend to be something other than what they are, which is in their eyes number one. Everyone needs to understand this. Arians need to be genuine people who are not into playing games. They like matters to move fast. Since Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, it is represented by the primal human, one who is one who must protect and defend. Aries people are highly ambitious and want to accomplish things quickly and in a no nonsense way. Competition is what Aries is all about. Many feel the need to compete when the other party does not even care to. Traditionally, Aries is a warrior sign, which means being always on the defensive, ready for action. The Aries style of relating is that of a catalyst using force, not of a peacemaker. They're interested in sports, and a number of Arians have a fascination with weapons. So when this card shows up, expect things to move fast, for there is no time to take it step by step. It will be a mad jump. It may be a time of testing your will. So, I mean, I do feel like that with all of those different planets, all in Aries at that same time. I mean, it's powerful energy. It's very fast moving, powerful energy that it's meant to just like move you into action, force you into action. I mean, that's really what I'm feeling. It's just you're taking these two energies right here, this, you know, force of the sun, the eclipse with this Aries, just me first, you know. So I mean, it's forcing you into action. And so then we have Mercury retrograde as well. And that's what we're seeing this week. So the eclipse is not until the 8th, but I mean, it's just so significant. We need to have that on our radar already. So that's why we're talking about it. But starting on Monday, we've got the Mercury retrograde. So Mercury retrograde, reinvention. Mishaps are like knives that either serve us or cut us, as we grasp them by the blade or by the handle. James Russell Lowell. Mercury retrograde is regarded as a time when things tend to go wrong. In actuality, it marks a 3.5 week period where any important actions should be postponed. So, I mean, it's a time of just pausing, slowing things down, reevaluating. About 3 or 4 times a year, Mercury goes through a motion called retrograde, which means that to go back or to retreat. But although Mercury, the planet of slippery wit, fluency, and adaptability, this inner planet so close to the sun appears to be going backwards, it's not. The retrograde movement of a planet is just an illusion because the Earth is orbiting the sun at a different speed than Mercury and the other planets. Still, from an astrological point of view, planets in retrograde motion cause potent effects on the Earth below. No planet goes retrograde as often as Mercury because it is never more than 28 degrees from the sun. And because of this, it has given us the dubious phrase that when something goes wrong, many exclaim Mercury must be in retrograde. Mercury isn't a predictable planet going along its normal direct path anyways. But once it goes retrograde, it's akin to trying to drive a car backwards. And all things ruled by Mercury suddenly begin to wobble and go off kilter. However, if you're a writer when Mercury is in retrograde, it's the perfect time to revise your writings. Mercury is the counterpart of Hermes, the Greek Olympian god, the sly trickster, who is not only big on pranks but also false moves. He is the god of transitions, roads, and boundaries. The very name Hermes has to do with speech and implies he is a translator. Mercury, as Hermes, conveys information. When that information comes to us wrongly because Mercury's unpredictable retrograde motion, nothing seems to go right. Firstly, when this card comes up in a reading, back up all of your equipment, your computer, cell phone numbers, and address book, and anything to do with technology or mechanics. Electrical appliances purchased at this time may end up needing to be returned. Any sales items will often turn out to be massive duds. Don't make the mistake of purchasing a vehicle at this time either. If you have to have your vehicle repaired, expect on making another visit to the shop to have something else revised or corrected. How long will this period last when the Mercury retrograde card comes up? Give the matter 1 week and then ask the same question after that. You'll want to carefully go over any contract that you sign and check any email or letter that you send. If you are about to leave on a trip, leave early because you must expect delays to occur. And make sure that you have clothing for all types of weather because the temperatures and conditions are likely to change. Mundane matters aside, retrograde planets are said to be more empathetic and that means that strangely, we are more silently and internally keyed into their energies. This causes unusual and fated meetings and occurrences to happen. You may meet with someone you haven't seen in years at a most unexpected place. You may have a conversation with someone with whom you only have a superficial relationship with, when suddenly you connect to that person, causing a much deeper rapport. If you are asking about the strengthening of a relationship, this is not a good time to get married, but it is an excellent time to renew your vows. It is not a good time to initiate a divorce or end a relationship, though, considering how soon Mercury moves forward again, because if you do, then the relationship will soon move forward again, too. If you are feeling hopeless and worried that the relationship is never going to work, the Mercury retrograde card is actually a good one to turn up for a reading. It means that there's more than what you know about the situation at the current time, and that the possibility of the relationship getting on its legs and moving ahead is very likely. It is also for a fortuitous time to connect with a lover from the past. It is a time to revise, reinvent, and renew. So this card actually corresponds with the Two of Swords card. So the Two of Swords, it's really when you're battling between the heart and the mind about um, what it is that is actually best for your life. So that's the connection I get when it's talking about the Two of Swords on that. It's just like it's just that you do sort of know what you want, but then there's something in you that's like it's not give you the permission to go that direction. But I think when we combine it with this energy here, we're not going to have a choice. Like we're going to have to go in the direction that feels the best for us. All right. So we have this week too the 4-4 portal. I haven't really talked about the portal energies much because we've just had so much other astrology going on. But on April 4th, that's the 4-4 portal. And the 4-4 portal, the theme is of self-trust, and it is a time for breakthroughs and answered prayers. And the angel numbers that I got this week, I got 313. So 313 is about forward movement. You're going in the right direction. It is a message to embrace your unique talents and that to remind you that happiness is not outside of you. And so I think that that last part is very important, is that if you keep waiting for certain events to happen before you allow yourself to be happy, you're never going to find happiness. Happiness is a choice that you're going to make every single day. Like, you're going to choose to just be happy, be content in every single moment. Even if it's not your most ideal, you can still be happy in the moment. You can still make that decision that I'm not, like, I can be happy in this moment. Um, even if it's not just my complete ideal. Like, I'm not gonna allow, just my joy to be stolen just because I'm not, you know, in the most ideal place to be happy yet. You can be happy wherever you're at. 644, stop procrastinating. The time is now. So that's where I told you I'd seen that earlier. The time is now, and to stop procrastinating. So this also says practical issues are causing stress. And so it's a time to restabilize the foundation. So, like, the stress that you're feeling, there are real things that you can do that can kind of help alleviate the stress that you're feeling. And so that's what I'm, seeing is like, and I think that maybe we can get so overwhelmed that it's like there's so much that needs to be done that we do nothing. So this message here is just we need to do something. We need to start moving again. You've got to move, do something. The time is now. It's not ever going to get any better. The time is now. And then the third number is 124. So 124 is let go of the old to welcome in the new. And don't fight the inevitable. So that was interesting. That one was interesting. Don't fight the inevitable. 124. Don't fight the inevitable. So, I mean, I think that was just, the resistance to, just like if you keep having this stuff showing up in your life, you're just like, no, that's not supposed to be happening to me. That's resistance. That is resistance right there. When you're saying, no, this is not supposed to be happening to me, that's the resistance to what is. It is happening to you. You're resisting it. So when these things come in that you're resisting, what are you supposed to do with that? Like, so you're supposed to inspect it. Why did that show up for me? What am I doing? What choices am I making that allowed that to come into my reality? What did I choose that this was part of that choice? Um, Also for 124, the journey is a journey to find your divine mission through serving others with the talents that you have. And so, I mean, I do feel, um, let go of the old to welcome the new, and don't fight the inevitable. I do feel like that a lot of times we do tend to just kind of get pushed into our mission unknowingly. And so I'm just kind of thinking about, like, just that one thing that your friends just kind of keep coming to you for. Like, what's that one thing that's like whenever this thing gets mentioned, they always bring your name up. Your name is the one that it's always mentioned when, oh, I need help with this. We need to go to this person. Like that you've become the expert for this. Like, you just kind of naturally just kind of keep falling into this is what are. Don't fight the inevitable. So, I mean, that is a message for someone right there, is like there's something that you're already kind of being put into, that you're already being kind of just shoved into, and that you're resisting it for some reason. It must just be something different than what it's a natural gift, though. It's a natural talent that's being tapped into. All right, so that was the angel numbers and astrology that came out this week. So we'll go ahead and pull some cards from. I'm going to pull some cards from the Ascended Masters, and then we'll pull a spread. All right, so only messages for our highest good. Guidance do the Ascended Masters have for us with this eclipse energy that we've been dealing with? So what masters have guidance for us for this eclipse energy? We have Lady Portia, overcoming limitations, karmic release, let go of the need to be right. Karmic release, that's a big one. That makes sense with, with understanding that the eclipses are like tower energy that's coming in to really clear out those things that are still hanging on your life that's not supposed to be there. Oh, wow. Vajrayogini. I cannot say that. Transcending fear. Facing fear leads to fearlessness. Embrace your power. Oh, wow. Look at these two very powerful women that just came out. So this is our guidance for dealing with these eclipse energy. So Lady Portia. You're being guided to let go of the need to be right or to prove your point. If you're in heavy emotional or challenging situation right now, there's a good chance that your ego is encouraging you to make decisions that are working against your growth rather than supporting you in being the light that you were born to be. If you are falling into old limitations or old ways of being, then the only person who is going to be stuck is you, and the universe wants you to be free. It may be hard to hear, but it's time to right your own wrongs in order to be energetically clear. You have the opportunity to make up for the past injustices. To do this, you have to be honest and see the parts of yourself that you've avoided in the past. This will enable you to be supported, guided, and abundant in the future. So, I mean, this is about acknowledging your part in a situation too. And so, if you're like, the truth is that it does take two people to argue. Um, so like they can keep saying something, but you cannot keep going back and forth unless the other person is coming back in too with just rah, 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 rah. One of you's like you're both right fighting. You're both right fighting. So you've got to release your need to be right and to own your part because again, like you've got to be inspecting, why do these things keep showing up in your life? There's a reason why this situation showed up in your life. You did something that brought this here. This isn't about trying to put victim blaming on anything, but it is about understanding your own patterns because until you understand what patterns that you have that has helped to bring this, co-create that together, you're not ever going to be able to stop doing it. So you can get out of like one situation, but if you haven't resolved the thing that keeps getting you into that same situation, you're just going to attract it right back into you. Maybe not the same person, but the same experience is just going to keep coming back to you until you've gotten to the bottom of what is your part in this. And so your part may not be um as obvious as maybe the other person's part because you're very good about pointing out like, oh, this is where this person went wrong, this is where this person went wrong, right? You're not as good about seeing your part, about where you went wrong in it. And so that's what it's asking you is now instead of taking your energy now to keep pointing out how wrong this person has been, let's start looking at ourselves. Let's now turn that back to ourselves and see what areas we have chosen in this. Okay, so the Vajrayogini, that is really hard to say. Okay, transcending fear. You would never know what it was like to be fearless if you had never encountered fear. This is the time when you are able to look fear in the eye and see it for what it is. Fear is just energy, and energy can be changed. This can be an intense experience because the human self is conditioned to be scared by the prospect of fear. And so when fear appears, it can send us running, when in fact it's an invitation to arrive. Your fears are appearing now because you're on the verge of a miracle. You have a real opportunity to know yourself better than ever. When you finally face your fears, they will no longer have power over you. When they have left you, though, there's a good chance that you may feel energetically drained or empty. This isn't because something is missing, but because your fears have been taking up too much space. This is an opportunity for you to call love, miracles, and anything else that you need into this space. You are learning to use your power and to be given the courage to embrace who you truly are. Freedom is within sight. And so I feel like that really going deep into this is shadow work, like, just out of both of these cards right here, this is deep shadow work, is what I'm feeling out of both of those messages. And it is scary to look at those parts of us that we do not want to acknowledge, that we don't want to feel. But you cannot heal it. You cannot overcome it until you inspect it, until you get in there and you see that it's there, and you can see the impact that it's been having. And just once you can start, like, really just like just seeing it. I mean, like, that's the biggest part, is once you can see it, now we can do something with it, because now we can't deny that it's there. But we've spent a lot of time in denial, I think. All right. So I'm going to pull some cards from the tarot. I'm going to use the Souls on Fire. Great. So I just want to see, what is our current timeline that we're on right now for this week, and get some guidance for that. Show me what we should be expecting from this week. So what is this week going to look like for us? All right. So we've got the Ace of Pentacles. So there's that portal in there. There's a new opportunity being handed to us. That's the hand of God handing an opportunity. We have the King of Cups. So this is just like the ultimate peace card to me. This in another deck, he's actually sitting like in this meditation pose. And it's just this inner peace. It's just like we finally have just like the maturity, the emotional maturity, um, to know what we want, to be able to offer our hearts with, like, in a mature way. Like, it's just a lot of the relationships, that we've been in the past, it's been unintentional pain that we end up going through. I don't think that the majority of the time anybody gets into a relationship with the idea that they're going to hurt somebody else. I don't think that that's anybody's goal. But because you aren't emotionally mature enough when you get into these relationships, that you don't even know what it is that you need, that you want. You don't know all of these underlying programs that you have, that, like, where you're being triggered and it's causing all of these different reactions, and how it interacts with the people around you. I don't think anybody is purposefully, I mean, there's few that's purpose, but the majority are not purposefully getting into the relationships to hurt people. They aren't even mature enough to know that they weren't ready for it. But this tells me that we've leveled up in that type of maturity, that the emotional maturity, that we have grown up. And so it's changing our expectations. Like, we've raised our standards. It's changing our standards. We're raising our standards. But, like, whatever this is what kind of has brought the shift, this opportunity. What is this opportunity? It is the Three of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, and the Nine of Cups. So the Three of Pentacles, it's a project. It's about working together with other people. It's collaborating with other people. So, I mean, this may be something that you are working on with someone else's. I mean, just it is reaching out for help. So, I mean, this could even be, a therapy situation. But it's helping you to know the direction that you want to go. With the Knight of Swords, this is about knowing what you want. This is about and going after it. So it's helping you to know what direction to go. And it's a gift. This is a gift. So the Nine of Cups is a gift from God. So this opportunity that you've been given it's good. It's bringing in it's healing you on an emotional level, and it's helping you to know, really what your standards should be. All right. So what is your best move forward? We have the Ace of Wands, the Four of Cups, and raising consciousness. So the Ace of Wands is about allowing yourself to be inspired, follow the inspiration. Just, I mean, because like not every idea you need to implement, but you need to allow the idea space to come out, because like as they're coming out, that's what helps kind of breed more, to come out. And so like if you're keeping it just so shut down, like the first time an idea pops up and you're like, that's stupid, and you just shut it down, instead of giving it space to see, well, how might this could work, and giving it space, because once you're giving that one space, it's making space for more stuff to come out. So I think that that's part of this, is your best move forward is to give yourself space to have the ideas, just that creative energy to come out. The Four of Cups is about not missing the opportunities that are right in front of you. And so, like, get out of your head here. Just again, as you start shutting it down, you're staying too stuck in here. You're not allowing it to come out. So get out of your head, get more present, in your day-to-day life, so that you can see the opportunities when they're showing up. Just like this opportunity here is actually a gift that is being given to you by God, that is helping you to get clear on what your expectations need to be. And then the raising consciousness, so it is to see this from a higher level perspective. So to see that this is meant to raise you on a soul level, the ascension part, it's part of your ascension process. What does this situation look like in 1 week? We have the Chariot, the Sun, and the King of Pentacles. So the Chariot tells me things move very quickly in the direction that you want it to go, in which we have, the Sun, which is that joy, it's light, it's just, it's the expansion, it's the sun coming out, shining on, just. And then the King of Pentacles, that is about stability, it's about your money, it's your abundance, it's having a very stable life. All right, so I'm going to pull a card from the Art of Manifestation Oracle, and we'll close it out after that. So, what guidance do we have to help bring our highest timeline into reality? Choices and decisions. The choices that we make today are defining the shape of our tomorrow, and so it is hardly surprising that we sometimes worry about making the right decisions. Do not shroud your mind in the fog of uncertainty. Just as you have choices today, you also have choices tomorrow and the day after. Be assured that you can always change the course again. So you have choices and decisions to make. And I mean, a decision, a choice to not do anything at all is still a choice. And so, the reminder there is that the choices that you're making are the ones that are creating your reality. And so when we were talking about the energy earlier of the eclipse being like a tower that's coming in to clear out anything that's in your life that's not meant to be there. So we had the other card that was about the karmic release. It's very, so the moon is very connected with the karma energy too. So I mean, like, we have so much that is saying that, like, we're done with this. You've learned those lessons. We need to get this out of the way so that we can move forward. And these things are holding you back. We got to move forward to this next path. You've got more growing and ascending to do. But one part of that card about the choices and decision that I like that it mentions is that just because you've made a decision to move in one direction, once you get moving in that direction, if you realize that this isn't taking me to where I want to go, or this is bringing in experiences that I just don't want to experience, it is okay to make different decisions. You can turn around and make a new decision and say, okay, that wasn't the path that I wanted. That's not the direction I'm going to go. I'm going to make a different decision today and I'm going to, go a different path. You are allowed to do that. All right, so I'm going to close it out there. So I hope that you found value in this. If you did, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to this channel. You can hit the bell for notifications and it will let you know every time I post a new video. I've actually done some videos for a new channel, a sister channel that I've created called the Spiritual View. So the Spiritual View, the main focus of it is a monthly collaboration video that I'm doing with my fellow Soulful Revolution certified readers. And so that'll be the third Friday of each month that we do our main show together. But we're going to start adding some videos in so that you can get to know us each individually as well. And so I've done a couple of videos that we'll be posting on that. And so I will let you guys know through the community page, the videos that I'm posting there. I will have a twin flame reading that I'm doing for that channel this week. So I'll let you know when that's going up. And then I also have some content that I have created for this channel as well that's different from my normal because April is Autism Awareness Month. And I'm not sure if you know, but I am autistic. And so I've created a video that's going to post this week that's just going to share how I discovered that I was autistic at 42 years old. So I have got some different content, like I said, that I'm going to be sharing on my channel too. And so I appreciate all of your support. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. If you would like a private reading, information about that is down in the description box. Other than that, I'll see you next time. Bye.